So in my previous video about chapter 137, I only really talked about the blast stuff in that chapter. I didn't talk about like anything else that happened in it. So I want to use that video to just break down the whole chapter and get into things that I didn't talk about. So in the beginning of this chapter, we see all of the heroes pretty much reuniting and getting together for what is probably going to be the last part of this arc, like the final big battle. And that being said, we see Bang, Bomb, and Fubuki meeting up with the strike team. Child Emperor's like, what are you doing here? And Bang says, perhaps you find that odd, considering you excluded us from the operation. This is a callback to before the Monster Association raid started, like when they were still in the planning phases. And Child Emperor was talking to Sekengar about who should be a part of the strike team and who shouldn't. And Child Emperor wanted to specifically exclude two heroes from this whole operation. The first being Genos, because he was just suspicious of Genos because of his origins and where he lived. But also he was suspicious of Silverfang because he thought he was going soft on Garo and wouldn't be able to like get the job done when it came down to it. So he thought bringing Silverfang along would probably compromise the mission. So he told Sekengar to exclude Silverfang along with Genos. And now that all of this has come to light, and I guess we seemingly have transparency among all of the heroes, at least mostly at this point, Bang has forgiven Child Emperor for what he did, saying, you know, from a purely military perspective, there's no choice but to have those doubts. But then he also says he'll take responsibility for putting Garo to rest with his own two fists. Is that true? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see what happens. So then it cuts to Tatsumaki, who we actually haven't seen for a little bit. She's on top of the end result of the tower that she I guess rang out while she was fighting Sairochi. And it appears that she's just completely lost consciousness at this point. And that's because fighting Sairochi and saving everyone and assisting everyone simultaneously kind of pushed her to her limit. But even when she reached it, she even had to go further than that, projecting that huge barrier over I guess a many-mile radius to stop Sairochi from escaping in her jet thing. But first, this video is sponsored by the Listen But Don't podcast. They also do a $100 giveaway a week to one lucky listener, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna play a little clip from their podcast here.
Welcome to Listen But Don't, the podcast.
Come back, Jordan, come back!
Sometimes, when you're doing a podcast out in the West, tumbleweeds rolling around everywhere. You got your gunslinger on your hip, and old Bessie the horse. And you just gotta go away from your old lady, even when she's screaming.
Take good care of Betsy, Jordan! Take good care of Betsy!
I will, darling, but it's time to move on.
You make sure you take this scarf with you when you go and do your show. Remember me? Say my name. Say my name before you leave, you bastard.
Thank you to the Listen But Don't podcast for sponsoring this video. You can find the link to their channel in the description. So please check these guys out. They definitely deserve the support. Thanks again. And it seems like that was the last straw here that really pushed Tatsumaki to unconsciousness. And we see Psychos notice that she's unconscious, so she tries to sneak attack her with a beam or something to take her out. But out of nowhere, Genos comes and saves Tatsumaki at the last second. This is a callback to Tatsumaki pretty much protecting Genos. So yeah, here you go. More material for all of you shippers out there. But honestly, I'm not even mad at this. It's better than, Child Emperor and Zombie Man. But while Tatsumaki's unconscious, she has this flashback to her childhood when she was a prisoner in this testing facility place. And it's revealed that Blast, the S-Class Rank 1 hero, saved her from that facility and actually influenced her into becoming a hero. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I already talked about this entire sequence at length in my first video talking about chapter 137. So if you'd like to hear all my thoughts on that stuff, you could check out that video. But while all of this was happening, Drive Knight was still chasing after Sairochi, which seems like it's been going on for months at this point. And Drive Knight's seemingly main motive for going after Sairochi is just trying to get a cell sample because he's fascinated with how powerful Orochi is and the abilities that he has, or seems to have. You can assume that Drive Knight is being altruistic here and actually is trying to assist the heroes, and Maybe that's partly true, but if you've been following the channel, you know that I'm very suspicious of Drive Knight, and I'll get more into that towards the end. But Tatsumaki is able to like wake herself out of her consciousness, remembering the quote that Blast told her about don't go expecting someone to come save you, and she starts assisting Drive Knight in going after Sairochi, like pinpointing where she is and like trying to stifle her. But Sairochi can like morph the jet form into like a creature, like animal type thing, and it's just too agile and is able to escape. Then out of nowhere, once again, Genos is somehow fast enough to go from point A to point B and catch up to where the Sairochi jet is and jumps on the back. So this development with Genos is a little confusing because this form that he currently has was kind of built up to be like a glass cannon thing. Like it was established that he can only use 10 seconds of his full power anymore and then he'll die. But now it seems like he can just only use 10 seconds of his full power, which we saw him use a couple chapters back when he was like beam struggling with Sairochi. And it definitely looked like he was done after that because it goes back to the whole Tatsumaki having to save him. But I guess that wasn't the case. It seems like he can only use 10 seconds of his full power, but then after that I guess he could just go back to normal power capacity. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it kind of just seems like they put way too much emphasis on the whole 10-second thing when the stakes were never really going to be that high anyway. But as Genos is on Sairochi's jet, she releases like these little Orochi Giro-esque orb things that can like project energy from them and is about to like shoot Genos in the back. But then Drive Knight comes and actually shields Genos from those blasts. And then in the last panel here, we see like Genos and Drive Knight doing like a combo, like Tony Stark chest blast thing. And that's where it ends. So I guess we can go into some speculation at this point. So first of all, it appears that Drive Knight has a similar set of technology that Genos has, at least with the whole chest laser thing. So Drive Knight having the chest laser thing only adds more suspicion to him, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna go over every single detail about why I'm suspicious of Drive Knight. I've talked about it in plenty of videos, but I will make a future video dedicated to that topic. I would just like to see how this whole sequence resolves first before I make that big video. But I'll just say that Dr. Kuseno probably shouldn't be entirely trusted at this point. Or at the minimum, he knows a lot more than what he's letting on. Now also, why is Drive Knight protecting Genos here? Well, on the surface, you would think, well, they're heroes. They want to assist each other. They're working towards a common goal here. But I think it's a little more nefarious for Drive Knight because I think that he's just trying to convince Genos that he's his friend because he ultimately wants to have Genos come over to the organization. I'm pretty sure that's where things are headed here. But like I said, I'm going to make an entire video dedicated to all of this stuff and why Drive Knight is for sure the mad cyborg. But that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this chapter. What do you think is going to happen next with Sairochi? When is this whole jet stuff finally going to be resolved and when we could move on? But let me know. If you liked the video, guys, please give it a like. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Please subscribe. Have a great day. See you in the next one.